Back about the turn of the century, the 1900s, there was trouble in America. Our schools were very boring. We had rote memorization. Students would memorize stuff, then they would stand up and they would recite it. The emphasis was on classical learning, which had little application to real life. A lot of students didn't go to school, and we had an emerging industrial nation, but our schools were somewhat out of touch. Here's some things that were being said about schooling. They said we need to abandon the cut and dried formula of a period when a man was educated only when he knew Greek and Latin. Another foreign publication said education is as it was 60 years ago in our boyhood. So it is today in 99 out of 100 schools. Not a grain of progress that will help the country boy to a better understanding of the problem of agriculture. So a group of people said we need to do something about this. And this group became the National Society for the Promotion of Industrial Education. And their goal was to promote industrial education by focusing the public's attention on the value of an educational system that could prepare the youth to enter industrial pursuits. And they also sought to secure funding to support the teaching of industrial education in the schools. Today, when we look at ACTE, it's predominantly educators. Well, back then we had some educators. It was a big coalition of people. Some were school-based, many were industry-based. They saw a need for industrial education. And those folks met in Atlanta in 1908. There they are. And they sponsored a number of bills, and after several false starts, we finally got the Smith-Hughes Act signed in 1917. Woodrow Wilson signed it. And the Smith-Hughes Act called this new type of education vocational education. Up to then, we've been calling it industrial education. So accordingly, the NSPIE changed their name the following year to the National Society for Vocational Education. Now that they got the funding, what were the next problems to be addressed? One is how to organize all these vocational programs. One is how do we prepare teachers? One is how to administer these programs. And in 1918, we had 1,700 members, and a great many of those were from business and industry in our organization. Meanwhile, back in the heartland, another group was established, and this was the Vocational Education Association of the Middle West. They were established in Chicago in 1914, and their focus was more regional. They were trying to get every state to have a society to promote vocational education, while the NSPIE was more nationally focused. Then in 1925, the two groups merged, and they wanted to change the name, so that's when the name, the American Vocational Association, emerged. And if we look at the goals in 1926 of this new organization, it was to promote active national leadership in promoting vocational education, to help state and local communities establish vocational education, to provide a national or open forum for the discussion of questions involving voc ed, and to unite all the voc ed interests in the country. So if we wanted to look at this for you visual learners, in 1925 in December they voted to get together, then we became the AVA, and then in 1998 we changed our name from the American Vocational Association to the Association for Career and Technical Education.